Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I will share with you a very nice beach bag recipe that I prepared with spaghetti paper string. First of all, I would like to show you the yarn I used. I used 3 balls of black color. I prepared my bag by using 2 balls of cream color. I completed my bag using 5 balls in total. I also share the dimensions of my bag with you step by step in the video. I want to share the content of the rope with you right away. Its mixture is 100%, its paper weight is 150 grams and its length is 250 meters. It has a very comfortable knit. You take the yarn directly from the ball and start knitting. A beautiful paper yarn with a really soft weave. There are many different color options. You can look at different color options by visiting spaghettiart.com. I immediately want to say, look, I will show you my bag. Look for a fairly large bag. You can use it at the beach or in daily life if you like using large bags. He had such a moldy stance. We worked with single needle, but we applied what we call the spike model. This gave our bag a hard form. As I said, paper rope is very easy to knit. That is spaghetti. For paper yarn, it is a very comfortable knit. I have never had a hard time knitting it. I prepared a work of a fairly large size, but if you want, you can work it smaller. Now we will knit and prepare the smaller size together with you. It can also be prepared in smaller sizes. You can also prepare it in medium sizes. Look, we start from a rectangular base like this, and then we will prepare our bag by making beautiful color transitions on the wall part without tearing any strings. I want to show my bag in detail right now. Let's see the base right away. I'm having a hard time fitting it on a very large screen. Look, it has a pretty big base. I prepared the handles by knitting them with my own thread. If you want, you can also use ready-made leather handles. You can also use different accessories. You can also sew the lining inside, but it makes more sense to use this type of bags instead of lining. Since it is a beach bag, I do not need a lining, but you can make a lining if you want. You can also use a snap zipper or other closure accessories at the mouth. It's entirely up to your taste. Before moving on to our detailed recipe, I would like to make a small request from you. You can subscribe to our channel for free. I would be really happy if you like the video and leave your comments. Let's move on to our recipe. First of all, I want to give you the dimensions of our bag. The length of our base, the longest side is 42 centimeters, the short side is 15 centimeters, the depth of our bag is 30 centimeters. Look, I knitted it until it was 30 centimeters and completed it. You can enlarge or reduce it to the size you want. Now I have filled the numbers with you, I will be sharing them. Meanwhile, I knitted and prepared the length of my handle, which was approximately 45 centimeters long. It is also worn on the shoulder. It is also easily held in the hand. I didn't make it too long. It is also worth mentioning this. Now let's move on to the recipe. A very, very easy recipe. Look again, I got my paper thread. My crochet number was 3.5 millimeters. You can determine your own crochet number according to the thinness and thickness of your own yarn and the tightness and looseness of your knitting. As steel, we start with chain. After locking our first chain here, we prepare our starting chains so that they are a little looser than the setting we knitted. I started by making 41 chains for my big bag here. We are drawing our 41 chains for the big bag, but you can play with the size of our bag by making the number of chains less and more. Now, since we will be working on a smaller bag here, I will start by examining them less together. Let's count our chains immediately. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Let's start with 20 chains. 20 chains are enough for me. Now, to describe the model, see here, I turn the reverse part of the chain, not the straight part. I leave the 20th chain I drew last and sink into the back cut lines of the 19th chain. Look, when you turn it upside down, you will see dashed lines like this. We will use these points. I left the last chain. I sink into the back cut line of another chain and make a loop. I have 2 stitches to fill. I knitted a single needle by passing it through both of them. Our model consists entirely of single crochet. Dip into another chain and knit again. I fill 2 stitches by dipping into the back cut line of another chain. I close the 2 stitches, see knitting single crochets like this. We continue in this way until the end of the row. We have come to our last chain. I sink into the last chain here. That is, I knit a single crochet on the back cut line. Knit this short rope this way. I take it, look, I jumped over the rope. Now I dipped into the same chain, that is, into the last space for the second time. Look, I knitted my second single needle. Now we will pass this short rope to this side and start knitting the points on the opposite side. Look, I'm sinking to the same point. I'm knitting my third single crochet. So we knitted 1, 2 or 3 single crochets at the last point in the corner. Now we have moved to the opposite side of the chains and the chains look like spikes. Look, it looks like this. We will continue to knit single needles by sinking these points, that is, into the bottom parts of the single needles until the end of the row, and at this point we will have hidden the short rope. I am sinking into the next space, see the chain space, and I am knitting single needles. Look, I am sinking into the chain spaces where we knitted single needles and continuing by knitting single needles again in this way. 1, 2, 3 single needles to the last point in the corner. I move to the opposite side, knitting single needles and reaching the last point here. We have come to the end of our turn. Look, the last chain here, that is, the space where the first single crochet we knitted is located. Now, I come and knit a single crochet into this space. I come back to the same space and knit a second single crochet. And look, we knit 2 single crochets while finishing here. We knitted 1 single crochet when starting the same blank. In this space, we have 1, 2, 3 single crochet points, just like in this corner. Now this second single knitted needle is our end point. We're going to put a safety pin right here, because we will knit our bag in a spiral way. And while knitting single needles, we will not sink into the top spaces. Look, the head space of the single crochet is this point. If we need to recognize single needles like this, look, the top spaces are quite obvious. We will insert the needle into the middle part. We do not have any combination at the end and the beginning. We will have knitted a complete spiral. Now we will knit 3 single crochet stitches into the first single crochet. Since we will be making corner increases, we are working on a rectangular base. And I'm coming here. Look, the top of the single crochet is the V-shaped body point. I'm falling right in the middle of this. It should come out from the back like this. I knit 3 single crochet stitches at this point, 1, 2 in the same space, 3 in the same space. I knitted 3 single needles. Now look, this is our starting point. So we started with 3 single crochets as our end point. Look at the next single crochet point. Its body looks like a V. We sink right in the middle, dip the needle right in the middle and remove the stitch. I don't shake my hand too much either. If you tighten the paper rope too much while knitting, your rope will be difficult to knit. Also, your hand will hurt a lot. Paper rope likes this kind of loose weave. It is also worth mentioning this. Now I'm coming to the next one. Look, this is the top of the single needle. The body point also stands in a V shape. Look, I'm falling right in the middle. It should come out from the back like this. And single needle. I am coming next. Look at the single needle. Right in the middle. Look at it from behind like this. Let's show it a little slower. The single needles are quite obvious. Look, I'm sinking right in the middle, and from the back 2 lines should be separated to the edge so that we can get a smooth knit. It's not difficult to knit. If you have a hard time, you can also prick directly on the tops of the needles. Look, you can sink into their hills like this. But we obtain a structure with a harder texture and form. We obtain a more durable bag with this example. It is also worth mentioning this. I'm coming right away. I prick right in the middle of the single needle. Look, it comes out like this from the back. Now I will continue to insert each of them like this right in the middle until I reach the point where the triple crochet is located. Let's not even cut this part. Look, it knits very easily. Never shake your hand. If you are a very tight knitter, be sure to choose a larger crochet number. You can enlarge it up to 1 millimeter, either 0.5 millimeter or 1 millimeter. Be sure to use large hooks if your hand is too tight. Now look, we are approaching the corner 3. Let's knit the single crochet over there. Look, there are 1 or 2, 3 single needles in the corner. I'm knitting 3 single needles by dipping into the first single needle of the 3, 1 or 2. 3. I'm knitting 1 single crochet on the second single crochet. I'm knitting 3 single crochets on the third single crochet here. until I want to show 3 like this. Look, by knitting 3 single crochets into the first of the 3, 1 single crochet into the second one, and 3 single crochets into the third, I have obtained the corners for the rectangular base. Now I will continue in the next single crochet. I will again sink into the middle part and single crochet for each of the others. Look, I will continue by knitting single crochets until the point where there was a safety pin. Look, we have now come to the end of our turn. The top of the single needle where I attached this safety pin was our last single needle. It was the first of my 3 at the previous point. So we started with 3 single crochets. We will knit 1 in the middle. We will knit 3 single crochet stitches in the other one. Look, before the safety pin, I sink into the middle part of the single needle and knit 3 single needles. I create 1, 2, 3, 3 corners. Then I take out the safety pin. Let's even attach it to the body. This will form our end and beginning. Now after working the model, look, the last point we will knit is here. After knitting 3 times, there will be 1 last single needle left, and we insert it right in the middle and knit a single needle immediately. Look at the body of this single needle. Let's insert our safety pin. This is our ending and starting point. Now there are triples in the corners. Look, there are 3, 3, 3, 3 and 4 points. Now we will create our corners in triples by knitting single needles from these triple points. The model continues in the same way. The first single needle is exactly the same. I dip in the middle part and look at the spike. I knit my single crochet. We will knit 3 single crochets in the second of the 3 at a time, and we will make our increases in these 4 corners. Now I come to the second of the triple crochet right in the middle. Look, I dip like this and knit 3 single crochets. 2, 3 and 3. Look at one another. Look at the middle of them. I hope it is clearly understood. Look, I am knitting single needles by sinking right in the middle of the single needle. Now I will continue. I will knit single needles by sinking right in the middle of each single needle until I reach the corner third. Look, we have reached the corner third, 1 or 2. 3 single crochet needles. I'm sticking the first needle right in the middle. Let's take our yarn out properly from the back. 1 single crochet in the first one. Look at the second one. I'm knitting 3 single crochets in the second one. At this point, I knit 1, 2, 3 stitches, 1 single crochet in the other, 1 single crochet in the other. We had a single crochet in between. We will make the increase in this corner by knitting 3 single crochets in the second of the 3. I immediately knit 1 single crochet into the first single crochet. 3 for the second one. 1 until and 3. Look, this is what we will do from now on. Then I knit 1 single needle on the other, and I will proceed by knitting 1 single needle on each of the other single needles. Look, our increases in the corner will be like this. Look, the single crochet has increased to 3. Here it was 1 by 1. These single crochets will increase in this way as 1, 3, 5, 7 between the 2 triples on this edge. Look, there are triple single crochets in the corners. We will enlarge our rectangular base by knitting 3 single crochets in the second row of 3 and doing the same process in all 4 corners. Here I changed the color in 4 rows at the base and throughout the bag. I use 2 colors. If you want, you can use more than 1 color, that is more than 2. You can also work colorfully. We will continue now. When we come to the corner, look again at the triple. Here, when we see the triple, I will knit 1 single crochet for the first and 3 for the second. When I see the triple, I will knit 3 single crochets for the second row each time. I will make increases in the corners and now complete the 4 rows in this way. Look, I completed my base in 4 rows. Now I'm going to add another color. Here I will show you the color transition. By the way, the clerk loves hand ironing. Let's continue by smoothing our hands like this. It's no problem to curl like this. Finally, after knitting the base with a steam iron, we will iron it with a steam iron. By the way, I want to repeat the numbers here. Here we started with 41 chains and finished the base by increasing 11 rows. We obtained a rectangular base by making 3 decreases in 11 rows of corners and increasing in 4 corners in this way. Now look, this point where the safety pin is the last point where we will sink. I'm sinking to this point. Look, I'm going right in the middle with our same color thread and making a loop. I include the new color while closing the 2 stitches. Look, I'll make it a little short and leave it at that. I take my new color on my hook and close 2 stitches with this color. We will hide this later. Look, I'm leaving this color here. I am leaving the cream color behind. After knitting this light color 4 rows at a time, we will move it up in each row and we will have knitted it as a whole without breaking any threads. Now I will show this too. We have passed the new color. I'm thinking of increasing it by 1. 2 more rows the same way here. I did 11 rows. Look, when the other color came, the increases continued in the corner. Now I'm sinking to my next point. I'm knitting single crochet and I'm knitting single crochet again. Look, I'm sinking right in the middle and single crochet comes to the first of the triple. 1 for the second, 3 for the other. I find the middle point. I knit 1, 2 or 3 single crochets, 1 for the next and 1 for the others. This way I will now increase 2 rows. I'm going to triple sink into the corners again. I will knit 2 more rows. So I'm going to increase 2 more rows with my new color. Maybe this sequence will be enough. When we finish the sole, we will definitely iron it because it will be very difficult to iron the bottom after completing the bag completely. It is important to put the iron inside as the bag will become deeper. It will be difficult and we cannot get a smooth look. In this way, after finishing the increases of the base, we need to iron the base at the point where we will pass after we start knitting the wall part. Now let's complete it in 2 rows like this. Now it is the end and the beginning. How do I carry the rope up here? We will share it with you immediately. We've come to the end of our row. I'm pricking our last single needle here, right in the middle. Meanwhile, keeping the light cream colored thread on the crochet hook, look from this point. I take out the same colored stitch and knit my single needle. I just moved the rope up. Look, I didn't leave it there. By moving it up like this, we will change the color of the rope every 4 rows. I continue now. By the way, how many rows have I increased? Increasing 4, 5 rows should be enough for me. Look, I have completed my increase sequence. If I were to measure in centimeters, starting from the order of increase, 6 centimeters wide. He is 18 centimeters tall. If you do it with the numbers I gave you, this is how I measure it. But your size may be a little bit bigger than the measurements I gave. This knitting will vary depending on our tightness and looseness. Even if we use the same yarn and the same crochet number, we may encounter such differences. Let's definitely take this into consideration. You can make your own measurements. You can start with the number of chains you want. You don't have to stick to a certain number of chains. You can start your bag in whatever size you want. Now, from now on, I will knit 1 needle for each of them. Look, I am not moving the rope. I leave it here and I knit 1 single crochet at each point. Now look, I finished the increases. I won't back into the corner anymore. I increased 11 rows on this bag. Here, an increase of 5 rows was enough for me. Now I'm starting to build the wall of my bag. Before knitting, I will definitely iron it on the reverse side with a steam iron, but here I want to show you the wall right away. We will use the same color change again. We will proceed with the same logic. The corners are no longer triple. We start building the wall section by sinking 1 piece into each one. Look. Here I go to the next point. We proceed in this way by knitting 1 needle for the first of the trio, 1 for the second, and 1 for the third. That is, by inserting 1 needle into the middle of each single needle. Look, there is no increase after this. We sink 1 each in the corner. In the other corners and corner parts, we sink 1 piece into each and move on to building the wall section. Now we will continue with this color until we knit 4 rows. Then I will share the color transition with you again. Look, we knitted 4 rows of our new color here. Now we will make a color transition. By the way, look, we move the thread up in each row. At the end of the row, I sink to the last point. Look again, I keep this thread on the crochet hook. I remove the stitch from this point. I keep 2 stitches waiting here. I take another color. Look, I immediately close the 2 stitches with the other color and switch to the new color. And in this way, I knit a single needle in each of them. By sinking right in the middle, we are now only coming out of the wall part. Look, I will switch to a new color every 4 rows. This is how I make color transitions. If you want, you can break the rope and tie it in each row. It could be that way. We will make color transitions by knitting in a spiral way like this, making our endings and beginnings. You can add any color you want. It doesn't have to be 2 colors, 3 colors, 4 colors, 5 colors. You can add as many colors as you want. By the way, I also ironed my base. Look, after knitting the entire wall and finishing it, iron the wall part with the steam iron and finally iron it. Now we will have started to knit and place our handle. Now look at the wall here. Let's knit it like this and make sure our bag reaches deep enough. Then let's move on to describe the handle part. As we have described here, after sinking one piece into each, we extended the wall section sufficiently. I also added a different color like this. As I said, you can add any color you want. I will tell you the length of this bag in centimeters. Look, it's 17 centimeters, like 17 centimeters became taller. Now I'm at the ending part. Look, we've reached the finish. Now, at this point, after knitting the last single needle, we dip into the top of the next single needle and make a stitch directly. We pass the loop we removed through the waiting loop. We insert into the top of the next single needle, remove the stitch and shift. Look, we will make our scrolls by sinking into the tops of the single needles. And at the end of the row, we will cut our rope and complete our bag. Afterwards, we will iron it well with a steam iron. Afterwards, we will knit the handle part and move on to placing the handle. We ironed our bag and prepared our handles. Now there's a very easy recipe that I will describe here. Now we leave some rope at the beginning so that we can easily assemble our bag handle with the ropes we left. We are letting go of some of our rope. We are making a magic ring. See it this way. If there are beginners among us, I have previously shared a video on how to make a magic ring. I will add the link to the description section of the video. You can access it by clicking there. If you do not know how to make a magic ring, you can prepare your handle by making 8 chains and starting a single crochet on it. Now we have made our ring. While making the ring, we draw a chain. Now we sink into the ring and make a loop. We take it out and knit it directly with single crochet. Look, I'm sinking. I knitted 7 single crochet stitches in total. You can make the number of needles as often as you want the thickness and thickness of your stem. 7 was enough for me. Here we knitted 7 single needles, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I pull the short rope remaining from the magic ring in a controlled manner. If you pull suddenly, the paper string may break. Look, we made a ring like this. Now I'm making a hollow in this ring because we will knit it in a spray way. Look, our first single crochet is here. I come right away. I find the top space, remove the stitch and knit a single crochet. I find it at the top of the next single crochet. I knit a single crochet again. This way, I knit a single crochet at the top of each single crochet. We will proceed by knitting single needles. We will have 7 single needles in total. We will knit in this way, constantly turning. Now let's come to the end. Look, it has become hollow immediately. I am straightening it with my hand in the first and second rows so that I can knit easily. You can even do this. Insert your hook and see, you can get it in the hollow and knit it more easily. The thread will remain at the bottom. Look, we are tearing it off like this. We will stitch it with this. Now I am sinking it into the top of the next single needle. Look, my row is over. I'm moving on to a new row. We will proceed like this by knitting 1 single crochet into each single crochet. Look, I'm knitting like this over and over again. Let's knit some. Let's understand it more easily. You can knit the length of your stem as long as you want. I made 7 single crochets. If your thread is different and thin, use more single crochet. In fact, if your rope is thin, you can make the handle harder by placing a thick cord inside it. But since the paper type is rigid in form, there is no need for anything. These 7 single needles are the ideal thickness for me. In this way, we will knit 1 single crochet in each of them and knit them in a spiral shape, turning them around and extending them. At the end, leave a long thread again and lengthen the stitch like this, directly after the last single crochet. We will cut it, remove the remaining rope and finish it this way. Now I would like to give you the measurement I prepared in centimeters. I gave the measurements in the big bag. Look, I have obtained a stem that is 26 centimeters long. Now let's move on to mounting our handle on our bag. I will use an etamine needle to mount it. I immediately take one of the stems. I will attach my thread and needle like this. I will assemble my bag by sewing the points I have determined. Look, I'm setting it up. I will sew the points. If you want, you can also use sarcasm to make your place obvious. Look, this part looks pretty ideal. I'm going to mount this point, then by adjusting the other. Let's check again. Yes, it fits here. I hold it a little bit from below and take it out directly, but without disturbing the pattern of the knitting, that is, in a way that the thread we are sewing from the outside is not visible. Passing through, I'll have the pervert pinned to the bag. In this way, I will sew it nicely now. I will pin it. In this way, I will hide the excess rope inside. I will complete my bag by doing the same for the other stems. And look, we have completed our handle by sewing our bag. It was a very easy and enjoyable job. Our recipe was like this. I hope you like it and try it too. I wish good luck to those who will do it. Don't forget to like our video, leave a comment and subscribe to our channel. Goodbye until we see you in the next video.